Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, which is entitled The Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 7, which is titled Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions. And this morning, reading from text 12. We're very fortunate to have His Grace Vishnugada Prabhu from ISKCON, Philadelphia, to give the class. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Panchakalpataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. You mentioned verse 12. I think it's verse 11, no?
Oh, it's verse 11. I'm sorry. Well, 11 is what's pulled up, so at least that part of it's right. Thank you. Apologize for that. Verse 11. Okay.
Jai Radha. Oh, if anybody can, they're welcome to unmute so we can have a back and forth kirtan if that's okay. So few kirtans we get to participate in during the day. So anyway. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari.
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari.
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Brajajanarana.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Brajajanarana.
Jamunatira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jamunatira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari.
Jaya Gopi Javallabha Girivaradhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari.
Jaya Gopi Javallabha Girivaradhari.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Brajajanarana.
Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana.
Yashodanandana Brajajanarana.
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jamunatira Vanachari.
Yamunatira Vanachari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajak Acharya Ashtottara Sutta Shishimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Jai.
Shamaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Prem Anande.
Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnugada Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, text number 11. Satre mamāsa bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Satre mamāsa bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Satre mamāsa bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Please chant.
Satre mamāsa bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Hare Krishna.
Satre mamāsa bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Hare Krishna.
Satre mamās bhagavān haya-śīraṣātho sākṣāt yajña-puruṣas tapanīya-varṇaḥ chandomayo makhamayo khila-devatātmā vāco babhūvur uśatīḥ śvasato nastaḥ. Hare Krishna.
सत्रे ममास भगवान् हय-शीरशातो साक्षात् स यज्ञ-पुरुषस्य तपनीया-वर्णः छन्दोमयो मखमयो खिल-देवतात्मा वाचो बभूवुर् उषती श्वासतो अस्य नष्टः. हरे कृष्ण.
Satre In the sacrificial ceremony, Mama of mine, Asa, appeared, Bhagavān, the personality of Godhead, haya-śīraṣātho, with his horse-like head, Ata, thus, sākṣāt, directly, saha, he, yajña-puruṣas, the person who is pleased by performances of sacrifice, tapanīya, golden, varṇaḥ, hue, chandomayo, personified Vedic hymns, makhamayo, personified sacrifices, khila, all that be, khila-devatātmā, the soul of the demigods, vāco, sounds, babhūvur, become audible, uśatīḥ, very pleasing to hear, śvasato, while breathing, asya, his, nastaḥ, through the nostrils. Translation. The Lord appeared as the Hayagrīva incarnation in a sacrifice performed by me, Brahmā. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the Supersoul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. Purport. The Vedic hymns are generally meant for sacrifices performed by fruitive workers who also want to satisfy the demigods to achieve their fruitive result. But the Lord is the personified sacrifices and personified Vedic hymns. Therefore, one who is directly a devotee of the Lord is a person who has automatically both served the purposes of the sacrifices and pleased the demigods. The devotees of the Lord may not perform any sacrifice or may not please the demigods as per Vedic injunctions, and still the devotees are on a higher level than the fruitive workers or the worshippers of different demigods. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadabhayam Dadati Sha Pandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vedanta Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I would like to ask permission and blessings from all the devotees present, and particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Welcome everybody to this Zoom class. So we're discussing in this chapter scheduled incarnations with specific functions. So who is keeping the schedule? Who makes the schedule?
Well, Brahma's the one talking now.
Yes. So did he schedule them?
I don't know about that.
Somebody scheduled them. Ultimately, the Supreme Personality of Godhead scheduled them because he can appear at his own sweet will. And sometimes he comes at the behest of the demigods, and sometimes he comes in other ways. But in every case, he has a similar purpose. He comes to deliver devotees like you and curb down the materialistic greed, lusty beings that are prevalent in this material world. So that's his job, that's his business. He doesn't have to work hard for that. It's his pastime. And here, Srila Prabhupada in this verse is discussing how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is really the focus of all kinds of sacrifice. So here, the incarnation of God, known as Hayagrīva, or in the Sanskrit we saw it was haya-śīraṣātho. Did you notice that? Śīraṣā means head. See? Horse like head. Śīraṣā. Like when people do yoga and they stand on their head, what's that called? That's a certain kind of asana. You know?
Shirasasana.
Yeah. Śvasato. Headstand. Head. Shirsa's head. Yeah. So haya-śīraṣātho, the horse head, Hayagrīva, it's the same person, but but he's described here as the personified sacrifices, and in the Vedic literature, there's so many sacrifices recommended. Just like we know a little bit about Ashvamedha yajña, Gomedha yajña, different kinds of sacrifice. Of course, in Kali-yuga, all those other kind of sacrifices are not recommended. The recommended sacrifice for this age is the chanting of the holy names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But in previous ages, there were many sacrifices being performed, usually by Brahmins, qualified Brahmins, and during those sacrifices, they could do some special magical things. For example, they would often begin the sacrifice by being able to light the fire by mantra. Is that right?
Yeah,
There's a
those
special
times.
kind of wood. What's that?
Those times. Not in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
But those times.
There's a special kind of wood called arani wood. So if you ever see a banyan tree, there are these tendrils that come down from the banyan tree that go into the ground, and then they create roots, and then that's how the banyan tree expands wider and wider, bigger and bigger. Sometimes banyan trees can be, miles. So anyway, so those tendril, before it goes into the earth, that tendril coming down, that's the arani wood. So then by chanting, expert Brahmins who knew how to chant according to proper accent and meter, and they could light fire by that arani wood. But in Kali Yuga, we can't do that. There might be somebody somewhere, but not generally speaking. And in the Vedic sacrifices also, there's some concession of worshiping demigods. So the demigods would sometimes come, or often come, to get their part of the oblations of the sacrifice. But ultimately, the purpose of all those sacrifices was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the beginning of any chant, any Vedic mantra, there's always the chant. What is that? Om. Om.
Yeah.
So they say Om Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shiv. But that Om, who is that Om?
Supreme Lord.
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. So that Om is recognizing that ultimately all those the procedures for sacrifice were ultimately meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord, not just for satisfying or mollifying of various demigods. And if the Lord is pleased, then the demigods are automatically pleased. Therefore, there's the the statement, Tasmin tushte jagat tushtam. Have you ever heard of that? Heard that before?
No.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada used to often quote that. Tasmin tushte jagat tushtam. Tasmin means you, and tushte means satisfied. When Krishna is satisfied, jagat tushtam, the whole universe is satisfied. And that's reflected in many verses, as we know, in the Bhagavad Gita. Would anybody like to forward or to speak some verses in the Bhagavad Gita that focus on this aspect of the Vedic sacrifices intended to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not specifically the various demigods? It's open. It's an open.
You say that Krishna has said that those who make sacrifices to the demigods, they are actually ultimately making sacrifices to me.
Yes, yes, very good. Yepi anya-devata bhakta. Anya-devata means to other god. Anya-devata bhakta. Yajanti shraddhayanvita. Even if it's offered with great faith, great love. Yajanti shraddhayanvita. Tepi mam eva konteya. Those that worship is meant for me. Mam eva konteya. Yajanti avidi purvakam. But it's offered avidi. Vidhi means like following rules and regulations. Avidhi means not proper. It's avidi purvakam. It's done not properly. Yes, very good. Other verses, there's so many verses in the Bhagavad Gita that hone in on this particular point that Dear Krishna, I expect you should come up with one. Prabhu? No? Or maybe you're at work. That's a challenge. Anyway.
He
no
has
offense,
mentioned that a couple of them was men of less intelligence worship the demigods.
Yeah, those who are, they want something. Give me something. Generally, they worship the demigods. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada was talking about him with a gentleman who was asking him, well, can't you have devotion for the various demigods? And Prabhupada said, yes, but mostly it's because of some material desire. And he quoted that verse, so someone might go into a liquor shop. What is the general consensus of what their business is?
To buy liquor.
Yeah, you bet. Now, there might be somebody who's like the government inspector, something goes in, but generally speaking, people who worship the demigods, it's because they want something, some benediction from the demigods, and therefore they're worshiping. Give me the Rupam Dehi, Janam Dehi, all these things that they say. So it's a so more it's more business than real bhakti, generally speaking. So he gave that answer, and the man appreciated that answer. I was thinking of another verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yajña-tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyadvamam shantim richtiti. Srila Prabhupada described that verse as the peace formula for human society. Bhoktaram yajña-tapasam. He says that I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. Bhoktaram yajña-tapasam. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am the Lord of all the planets and the demigods thereon. Sometimes, the word the word Maheshwar is sometimes used to designate Lord Shiva. Stepping back further, getting a full picture, the real Maheshwar, here as described in Bhagavad Gita, is Lord Krishna. Sarva Loka Maheshwam. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. And not just that, but the well-wishing friend of all living entities, all of us, not just humans, also cows, rabbits. Gyatva mam shantam michyati. So if we can really know that, then we can be peaceful, if we can be happy. Because without peace, you can't be happy. If you're always worried, you're looking over your shoulder, it's very difficult to be happy. There's some little drops of happiness might come, but no real lasting, full happiness. So Lord Krishna is saying that. And there's another verse which is important in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tatvinatas chavanti te. This is in the 9th chapter also. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. It's an interesting and important verse also. Aham hi sarva yajnanam. So, in this world, do people do sacrifices for other purposes other than to please Krishna?
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Practically all religions do.
Yeah.
Prayers.
Even in sometimes in devotee run sacrifices, sometimes for whatever reason, or because the people want to satisfy somebody, they'll do a worship of demigods, especially Ganapati, in the beginning of the sacrifice, because they think that's required to remove obstacles in the sacrifice. And of course, certainly we give respect to Ganapati, to Durga, to Shiva as devotees of the Lord in the Lord's cosmic management. But our business isn't to placate or serve them, worship them. No. In fact, in the Satkriya-shār-dipika, have you heard of that? Satkriya-shār-dipika. It's compiled. No, Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Shat Kriya Shar. Kriya means the activities, Shar, the essence of them. This descriptions of how devotees do rituals, especially for householders. So there are many verses to recommend to begin a sacrifice to remove obstacles and to develop auspicious environment. All of them are prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And even there are some that say that if you, in the beginning of the sacrifice, if you worship separate from Krishna demigods, then the whole thing is worthless. Do you know that? It's very interesting. Anyway, so at least according to that translation of that thing. So how do we worship the demigods? Well, if we generally worship Govinda. And just like Lord Brahma is saying here that he performed this sacrifice, similarly, Lord Brahma also mentioned that in another situation, that when the root of a tree is satisfied, is watered, then all the parts of the tree, the leaves, the twigs, the branches, the bark, the body of the tree, everything, the roots, everything becomes satisfied. And if we give food to the stomach, then all the different parts of the body get nourishment through the agency of the stomach. So this is very pleasing and very scientific method to get a lot done in a small amount of time. So, if you had to go water all the different leaves of the tree, it'd be a headache, isn't it? So save you time, water the root. You can't please everybody. Isn't that the mantra? You can't please everybody. Yes, you can. How? By pleasing Krishna. Yes. So how do we water the root? Yeah, that's the business of the devotees in the Hare Krishna movement, understanding how to water the root of the tree. So there's a nice example that Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's quoted from the Mahabharata, of when the Pandavas were in the early part of their exile in the forest, having been sent to the forest for 12 years and the 13th year secret incognito. So they had a pot that was given to them by the sun god. You know the name of that pot? Dear
No.
Krishna, what's that pot? Akshayapatra. That's where that comes from. Akshayapatra. So, and the thing was that as long as Draupadi hadn't had her meals, that pot would give unlimited food, I guess, food to the Pandavas at their behest. Because when the Pandavas left Hastinapur for exile, there were many brahmanas who came with them, and Yudhishthira was kind of concerned that he wanted to be able to maintain those brahmins if they were there. He didn't want them to go hungry. So they had this Akshay Patra. So Duryodhan, because he had lots of spies, he knew the situation. So he when Durvasa Muni came to the palace, he pleased him in some way. And so Durvasa Muni said, "Let me give you a boon." So Duryodhan said, yes, why don't you visit the Pandavas in the forest? They're in exile. They'll be very happy to see you. But with one condition. You know what the condition was?
Go at the time that everybody's finished eating, especially
Yeah.
especially
How would
Draupadi.
he know that? Well, Durvasa was some kind of a mystic, you must know. And Durvasa had lots of disciples who were traveling with him. So anyway, somehow he knew that he arrived, and Duryodhana knew that Durvasa Muni had a temper. So he figured that if he goes there and Yudhishthira Maharaj can't welcome him very nicely with at least some refreshment, some food, something, that he'll curse the Pandavas. That was his idea. It was a kind of a conspiracy thing. So
Can I ask a
Durvasa
question,
shows up.
if you don't
What's
mind?
that? What's that?
Can I ask a question about
Of
this?
course, of course.
Durvasa Muni, with his powers, should have known or could have known what was behind Duryodhana's plans. And he still decided to go at the time when the pot could not give them any prasad. That surprises me.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at the time when he took a shower, he went to take a bath in the river.
Bath in the river, yeah.
Yeah, when Maharaj Ambarish was waiting for him, he knew what Maharaj Ambarish did when he took the little chandomayo water. So how come he gave?
Well, this is where there's two different things. Yeah, but yeah.
The Ambarish Maharaj situation, the same Durvasa Muni went to
very
bathe.
similar, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, same Durvasa Muni, similar situation, yeah.
But then he knew that Maharaj Ambarish had taken the chandomayo water. So if you can tell like that, how come he didn't know what Duryodhana was thinking? That's surprising.
There's no commentary on that. That's a good question. You can research that, or at least I'm not aware of any commentary on that.
That's my question too, Prabhu. Because if he knew being being a very elevated yogi or sage.
Yeah,
And
incarnation of Lord Shiva.
yeah, so how is it that he did not know that Duryodhana's devious
He had a
plans?
nefarious motive, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
I don't know. I don't know the answer to
Anyway.
that question.
yeah,
It's a
we
good
can even
question.
say that about Balaram too.
It's a very good question. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it could be. I mean, I can only speculate
Mm.
because as far as I know, I don't know any commentary on that.
I haven't seen it, yeah.
Sometimes Krishna puts a person in temporary ignorance for their pastimes. You follow?
That's a good one, yes. That
Yeah,
could
yeah. So
well
I don't know
explain it.
that's true because I can't say that Srila Prabhupada said that, but certainly possible. But we know this pastime is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam summary there. So anyway, so Durvasa Muni got there, and Draupadi had already taken her meals, and so then Yudhishthira said, "Oh, okay, thank you. We'll come back with you, all your disciples. Just take bath and come back, and we'll give you nice refreshments." And so they went to Draupadi, but she said, I already had my meals of the day." So there was some concern. Draupadi then said, "Ah, Hare Krishna, please." Krishna came. Krishna came and said, "Can you check out that pot? Check the pot." I guess the person who was washing the pot, I don't know, didn't do a thorough job, or the pots hadn't been washed yet, because there was a little bit of vegetable there, right?
Mm.
And Krishna said, "Give that to me." So he took that little bit of vegetable and was satisfied by it. And so then Durvasa Muni and all of his disciples taking bath, all of a sudden they started feeling very full. And they thought, well, if we go back to Yudhishthira, we won't be able to eat, and then he'll be offended. So better we just go on. So he saved. So just by Krishna's satisfaction of that little piece of vegetable, everybody got satisfied. At least Durvasa Muni and his so many thousands of disciples were satisfied just by that little. Similarly, when Srila Prabhupada came to New York in 1972, there was a ad hoc kind of GBC gathering. Many devotees came from all the parts of the United States and others to see Srila Prabhupada, and they were talking. Then they didn't get their prasadam in the morning, so Prabhupada said, "I'll make something." He had a little kitchen in the Brooklyn Henry Street Temple, so he started to make granola, and these are big devotees there who really like to take. You can imagine, like to take prasadam. So Rupa Anuga, who was there, he was looking over Prabhupada's shoulder at the amount he was making. He said, "Srila Prabhupada, there's a lot of people here, and I don't think that's going to be enough there." And Prabhupada said, no, it'll be fine. And still, Rupa Anuga was concerned. But Prabhupada continued to say, no, it'll be fine. So then, when he distributed that granola, everybody became, even though they just had a little bit in their hand, everybody became completely satisfied. That's a similar thing. So, interesting point. So this Hayagrīva incarnation is the personified Vedas, also known as haya-śīraṣātho, and his body is golden. Interesting. Usually you don't think of a golden horse. And an interesting point is that his head is like a horse, but the rest of his body is like
Human?
Yeah. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 9th chapter, 40th verse, Hayagrīva is described as one of the mixed incarnations. Mixed, because he has a horse head and a human body, human-like body. Or you have similar to who's another mixed incarnation.
Bird carrier of Lord Vishnu.
I don't know. That wasn't mentioned in this list.
Oh, okay.
The other one mentioned. Go ahead, Mother Anusui.
Lord Nrsimhadev.
Yes, Lord
Yeah,
Vishnugada.
that one, yeah.
Yeah. So there's animal incarnations like Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. There's
Mm.
mixed incarnations also, like Nrsimha and like Hayagrīva here. We're talking Hayagrīva. And there's people who are the incarnations that are look as if they're human-like. So there's all different kinds of incarnations of Krishna. Go
Question.
ahead. Go ahead.
Isn't Garuda also a mixed incarnation? I mean, mixed personality, I should say.
Well, in what sense? He's not meant. There's that list is given. I said it's 6, 9, 40, 6
Yeah.
canto. Garuda, I don't believe is mentioned there.
Well,
In
he's not
our
an
picture,
incarnation of the Lord anyway, but
well,
I just
he's
wondered in
empowered.
terms of his form. Yeah.
There's all different kinds of incarnations.
Mm.
There's Shakti Avesh avatars,
Yeah.
and all these kinds of incarnations. So Garuda could be included is included in he's empowered by the Lord to as his carrier. So he could be considered an incarnation. But if you look in our pictures of Garuda made by ISKCON devotees, you'll see that he doesn't have a human head. You notice?
They give him an ego head.
Yes, but sometimes in other pictures or other statues, you'll have Garuda with a human head, isn't it?
I haven't seen.
Yes, you'll see.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, Srila Prabhupada was very specific and very careful about how the Lord and his associates were depicted. He wanted to make sure that they were depicted accurately. So he has a human head. And Varaha, sometimes you have Varaha as having a human body with a boar's head. But Srila Prabhupada had him pictured generally as a full boar, all boar.
Yeah.
So there's different kinds of incarnations are there. Yeah. But Hayagrīva is one that we don't hear very much about.
Mm.
We have the appearance anniversary of Varaha. We have the appearance anniversary of Vamanadev. We have the appearance anniversary of Nrsimhadev. But we don't have the appearance anniversary of Hayagrīva. I don't know why that is. I don't know. But it's an interesting point. You follow?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was Hayagrīva's, what did he do? So that's described elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 6th Madhya Lila, chapter 6, verse 99, there's a nice description. In the age of Kali, this is the verse, there is no Lila avatar of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is known as Tri-yuga. That is one of his holy names. Purport. This is interesting. A Lila avatar is an incarnation of the Lord who performs a variety of activities without making any special endeavor. He always has one pastime after another, all full of transcendental pleasure. And these pastimes are fully controlled by the Supreme Person. The Supreme Person is totally independent of all others in these pastimes. While teaching Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out that one cannot count the number of Leela avatars. However, the Lord told Sanatan, I shall explain the chief Leela avatars. Okay? You got that? Oh, there it is, yeah.
I pulled it up.
Yeah. Thus, the Lord's incarnations were enumerated, including Matsya, the fish incarnation. These are Leela avatars. Kurma, the tortoise, Lord Ramchandra, Nrsimhadev, Vamanadev, and Varaha, the boar incarnation. Thus, there are innumerable Leela avatars, and all of these exhibit wonderful pastimes. Lord Varaha, the boar incarnation, lifted the entire planet Earth from the depths of the Garbhodak Ocean. The tortoise incarnation, Lord Kurma, became a pivot for the emulsification of the whole sea. and Lord Nisringadeva appeared as half man, half lion. These are some of the wonderful and uncommon features of Leela avatars. Then says, in his book, Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has enumerated the following 25 Leela avatars. Chatushana, you know who Chatushana is?
No.
Chatu means four. So these are the four Kumaras. The four Kumaras.
Oh, yeah.
Nada.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sanat Sananda. Yeah. Varaha, Matsya, Yajña, Naranarayan, Kapila, Dattatreya, Haya-śīraṣā. See, Haya-śīraṣā is there.
Yeah.
Also known as
That's
Hayagrīva.
Hayagrīva. Mhm.
Hansa, Vishnugada, Rishabha, Prithu, Nrsimha, Kurma, Dhanvantari, Mohini, Vamana, Parashuram, Raghavendra, Vyas, Balaram, Krishna, Buddha, and Kalki. So these are the Leela avatars. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not mentioned as a Leela avatar because he's an incarnation in disguise, Channa avatar. In the age of Kali, there are no Leela avatars, but there is an incarnation of the Lord manifested in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This has been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's a nice. And so we find Hayagrīva or Haya-śīraṣā in the list of in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Laghu means small. Bhagavatamrita means it's a nectar from the Srimad Bhagavatam summaries from Rupa Goswami. 25 Leela avatars. And it's an interesting point. All these Leela avatars are not necessarily Vishnu Tattva. You follow?
Mm.
They're not all Vishnu Tattva. Some of them are Shakti-avesh or Jiva Tattvas who are empowered incarnations.
Yeah.
Can you see which ones are empowered incarnations and which one? Let's see how you do. Okay, you ready?
Prithu.
Okay, starting from the top. Chatushan.
Yes.
What?
Empowered Shakti.
Yes, they're
Pokemon Shakti, definitely.
living entities, jiva souls that are empowered by the potency of Narad Muni.
That's the next one.
Also empowered.
Shakti, yeah.
Varaha.
That's the Lord himself.
Vishnu Tattva. Matsya.
Also
Vishnu
the Lord
Tattva.
himself. Yeah.
Yajña. Vishnu Tattva. Naranarayan. The Narayan is Vishnu Tattva. Kapila.
Yeah.
Vishnu Tattva.
Yeah.
Dattatreya.
Also Vishnu Tattva.
Yeah. Haya-śīraṣā.
Yeah.
Vishnu Tattva. Hamsa, I don't know. Krishnagarbha, Vishnu Tattva. Rishabha, Vishnu Tattva. Prithu.
Shakti.
Shakti-avesh. Nrsimha.
Vishnu Tattva.
Kurma.
I think that's Vishnu Tattva too.
Vishnu Tattva. Dhanvantari.
Yes,
I think
that's
it's
also
Vishnu
Vishnu Tattva.
Tattva. Yeah.
Mohini.
Definitely, that's
Tattva.
the Lord himself in the female. That's Vishnu Tattva.
Vamanadev.
That's
Vishnu
also
Tattva.
Vishnu Tattva.
Parashuram.
You know, I don't know that one. I'm not sure.
Shakti-avesh. He's Shakti-avesh.
Oh,
That was
okay.
my guess.
Yeah, okay.
Raghavendra.
I never heard
You
of
know?
him at all.
I never
You know-
heard.
Raghavendra is a name for Lord Ramchandra.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So that's Vishnu Tattva then.
Yeah. Vyas.
Yeah, that's a Shakti.
Shaktivesh?
Empowered. Yes.
Yeah.
Balaram Krishna. Yeah. What about
Yeah.
Buddha?
Buddha is Shakti too.
Shaktivesh.
Shakti-avesh. Yeah. And Kalki.
That's the Lord himself.
Vishnu.
Vishnu Tattva. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote that delineates those things, just as we said, just as you did very well. You did very well, Parikshit Prabhu and others. Mother Anasuya. Yeah. So, so anyway, Haya-śīraṣā, Hayagrīva is Vishnu Tattva. Then in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18th chapter, in the summary of the chapter, there's a description in that chapter of the different varshas of Jambudvip. And in each one of those varshas, there's different incarnations or manifestations of the Lord worshipped. So he describes, Lord Shukadeva Goswami, and this is in the summary, the beginning of the chapter, describes different varshas of Jambudvip and the incarnations of the Supreme Lord worshipped in each. The predominating deity, ruler of Bhadrashva Varsha is Bhadrashva. he and his many servants always worship the incarnation known as Lord Hayagrīva. At the end of each kalpa, when the demon Ajnana steals the Vedic knowledge, Lord Hayagrīva appears and preserves it. Then he delivers it to Lord Brahmā. So then in the verses for that chapter 5:18:6, he says, it's Shukadeva said, at the end of the millennium, that's like the kalpa, ignorance personified in the form of a demon stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet of Rasatala. The Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagrīva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahmā when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, whose determination never fails. Yeah. So, so that demon, so we're hearing that Lord Brahmā is attacked by this demon. Here, the demon's name is Ajnana, which means Om, like we say, Om Ajnana, ignorance.
Ignorance.
Yeah. So, but elsewhere also, another name of that demon is, you know what another name of that demon is?
No. Again, ignorance. No, I don't know.
Madhu.
Ah.
And he had a friend named Kaitaba. These two demons, so Madhu was passion and Kaitaba was ignorance. So they attacked Brahmā, and Brahmā was, he's cut, he was flat-footed. He lost the Vedas. The Vedas are so important. So, and they brought the Vedas down to this Rasatala planet, which is the lower portion of the universe. But Hayagrīva came and killed them, and therefore returned the Vedas back to Lord Brahmā, whose business was to promulgate them through teachings to make the universe a progressive place for going back to Godhead. So Madhu. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is often addressed by Arjuna as Madhusudana.
Yeah.
Madhusudana.
Yeah.
That's the Madhu. You follow?
Yeah.
That's the Madhusudana means the person who was destroyed Madhu. So the Krishna in his form as Hayagrīva destroyed the Madhu demon, and we see that there's a nice reference to that in the Vibhavarishesha prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You know that how it goes? Vibhavarishesha aloka pravesha nidra chari uttajiva bolo hari hari mukunda murari Rama Krishna
Hayagrīva.
Vishnu Vamana Srimadhusudana Brajendra Nandana Sham Putana Ghatana. The next is Kaitabashatana. So the Kaitabashatana, that's the Madhu and Kaitaba. They went together and they attacked Brahmā. So even if you're the supreme person within the universe, you can be attacked by ignorance. What to speak of us, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So Hayagrīva, we don't have an appearance anniversary for Hayagrīva, but I was looking when Srila Prabhupada came over to the United States first time from India. He had 2 heart attacks, and after the second one, he had a dream where all the incarnations were there, encouraging him and saying, "No, come along, everything will be okay." So I don't know if Hayagrīva was in on that dream. You know what I mean? All the incarnations were there. I don't know. Anyway, Hayagrīva is also invoked in the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's the Kavacha, Narayan Kavacha, and in that Narayan Kavacha, specifically Hayagrīva is mentioned. If you make an offense by not giving proper respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead before doing some event, doing some task, then you can get Hayagrīva can protect you from that problem. Interesting point.
Oh, okay.
Hayagrīva, Prabhu. Hayagrīva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right, I see it's pretty. It's already 9:03.
Yeah, thank you. Prabhu. I don't know whether you can stay maybe another 5 minutes or so. There is in the text, dear Christopher would type something here that may be good to discuss
Yeah,
for a short while.
what does it
Hare
say?
Krishna says, if I'm not wrong, Prithu Maharaj is mentioned under Leela avatar sometimes, and then sometimes under Shaktivesh avatar.
Yes. So as we were saying, Leela avatars doesn't necessarily mean Vishnu Tattva. That whole list, Narad Muni was included in the list of Leela avatars by Rupa Goswami, but he's not Vishnu Tattva. So just because they're in a list of Leela avatars doesn't mean they're Vishnu Tattva. Well,
Okay.
makes sense?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, maybe to him, as he put the question, I hope it does.
Dear Christopher was still... Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think his work is also kind of, because he went off and then logged back on, so he's obviously tied up in the work there too. The one thing about the worship of demigods, my own question, there was a conversation by Srila Prabhupada that I was just looking at, conversation with the devotees, and pulled up a part of it, which I thought was quite interesting. We mentioned Ganesh earlier in this, and see that there was a point, who was speaking? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I won't waste that. So the first question I asked you to Prabhupada, this is one of the disciples, if I could do Ganesh Puja. I'm reading from the Vedas, the Vedas. I didn't say anything about money. I said that the Nectar of Devotion mentions Ganesh worship. And I know that for a fact because I'm reading when he said that. All the Sankirtan devotees signed the letter. And then Srila Prabhupada wrote back, my dear sons, please accept my blessings. When we were sitting around reading it, we thought, that's it. Our lives are perfect. Prabhupada is giving us his blessings. Then Prabhupada wrote, Krishna says to worship him, and you're proposing to worship the demigod? Why is this? Krishna says you're less intelligent if you do this. We wouldn't have taken that from anyone, but we were in ecstasy when Prabhupada told us that. Prabhupada told us that. Prabhupada went on to say, but still, if you are attached to worshiping Ganesh for a huge amount of Lakshmi, and then he penciled it in to serve Krishna, then you please send me $100,000 a month, and not a single farthing less. So that was a very nice instruction. We stopped at Ganesh Puja and went on Sankirtan. I thought I'd put that in. That's an interesting letter. Anyway.
Yes, not less.
Yeah, Nishchintya said that.
So yeah, and you can see that letter. You can read that letter. It's in the database. Yeah,
I'm actually reading from the database now.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, any other fun?
Well, then in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also says.
If not, then thank you very much for coming on. Very interesting.
Parikshit, he's not done talking.
Who us joining
maybe he can't
in
hear.
for a
Maybe
nice
he can't hear.
Katha conversation.
He can't hear. He's not done talking.
Oh.
Okay.
Hold on. Vishnugada Prabhu was talking and you cut him off. So just.
In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada says that there's the Mayavadis, the materialists worship Panchopashana, 5 deities: Surya, Ganapati, Vishnu, Shiva, and Durga. So we can also do that, but properly by chanting the mantras from the Brahma Samhita. For example, for Lord Ganesh, Yat Pada Pallava Yugam Vinithaya Kumbhadvande Pranama Samaye Saganadi Raja Vignan Vihantamalavasya Jagatrayasya Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So the Lord Ganesh gets his power to destroy the obstacles in the 3 worlds. How? by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Govinda. So Srila Prabhupada says we can worship them in that way.
Right.
That's Dear Krishna Prabhu had his hand up again.
Please unmute Prabhu, if you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Except
All
mine,
glory
all
to
glories to
Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
No, I just wanted to try to convey to Parikshit Prabhu that you were trying to speak. So that's all. I
Okay,
think
Yeah.
okay.
he has
when
some
you-
issue with the audio, I think. Yeah.
Yes. When you were speaking, Prabhu, I also started speaking, and then I didn't know what was going because I couldn't hear you. And then I got a message on my
Yeah,
screen.
it's okay.
Your
It
internet
happens.
connection is unstable. So that's what happened. I was actually cut off from hearing you. That's why I thought you weren't
No
speaking
problem.
when in fact you were. Okay, thank you. So I apologize to all of you, devotees. Hare Krishna. Any final comments?
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
go ahead.
And Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance to Saga Shishya Prabhupada. Prabhu, there was, I don't remember, this has been some time, but I think there is a quote or sentence somewhere in the Nectar of Devotion about worship of Lord Ganesh. I don't know if you know what I'm referring to,
Yes, it's
Prabhu.
there in the Nectar Devotion. It's one of the
Yes, can
activities of
you,
devotional service.
yes, can you clarify that point, Prabhu?
Well, in the Nectar Devotion, there's certain things that are really recommended for, and certain things that are not as strongly. So that's where the devotees got the idea that that Parikshit Prabhu was quoting. Oh, because it's in Nectar Devotion. So, but to further refine it, when they asked Prabhupada directly, that's what he said. There's another letter where Prabhupada, a devotee asked him, "Can we worship Ganesh?" He said, "No." Just straight out, no. And this one, he said, "Yeah, sure. If you really want to, for in the service of Krishna, then you have to give me $100,000. What was it? $100,000 a month, not less."
Every month.
Yeah,
not a
okay.
parting less. Yeah.
So, and then in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says to worship Ganesh, the devotees worship by yajña-puruṣas, by chanting that mantra from the Brahma Samhita. So, generally speaking, we don't do that. We don't do that. And I quoted from the Kshatriya Shardipika. Those many verses, they say that a Vaishnava who worships demigods falls down.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, I mean, okay. Worship, of course, somebody could say, well, in the Jagannath Puri temple, there's a deity of Bimala. Bimala means Durga.
Oh.
And after they offer the prasadam to Lord Jagannath, they give some to that Bimala Prasad. That's to Bimala Devi. And so Bimala
So
Devi
the boga goes to Lord Jagannath then.
first, yeah. And then to
after he
Bimala,
eats, then he
then some to Bimala Devi. So we know that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's given name at birth was
Bimala.
Bimala
Prasad.
Prasad,
Bimala
yeah.
Prasad. Okay, so Bimala Prasad. But
Mm.
after it's been offered to Jagannath, after being offered to Jagannath, you follow.
Yeah.
Ah, so she's getting the
Yeah.
Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we according to Chaitanya Charitamrita purport, we can worship Durga also. How? Shristi stiti palaya sadhana shaktari kachayeva yasya bhuvanani vibarti Durga ichchanu rupam api yasya chicheshtate shab govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajan. So Durga, Mother Durga, is incredibly powerful. Shristi means creation, stiti maintenance, pralaya. She has a hand in all three of those universal functions, but she's doing it under the behest, under the order of Govinda. Yeah, so we can respect her that way. We can respect her that way as the servant of Krishna, but not separately from Krishna. No, we don't do that. Prabhupada didn't do that. We didn't. He never encouraged us to do that. There's there used to be a popular chant for a little while in ISKCON, probably in the mid 70s sometimes. It went like this. Maybe you've heard it. Brahma bole chaturmukhe Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare Hare. Have you ever heard that one?
Never did, Prabhu.
No.
Okay, well, I don't want to introduce it. But
Hare
anyway,
Krishna.
so somehow some devotees picked it up somewhere, and they used to chant it like on Shivaratri day. Mahadeva Panchamukhi, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, Pancham, 5 mouths. He chants Rama Rama Hare Hare. Okay. Oh,
Interesting.
my godbrother Lakshmi Singha Prabhu was in Vrindavan with Srila Prabhupada when Prabhupada was indisposed later, just before he passed away. And they had 24-hour kirtan going on in his room, and he was scheduled to do from 12 to 3 in the morning. And Prabhupada was on his bed, and he thought Prabhupada was sleeping. So he was chanting Hare Krishna mostly, but then all of a sudden, at 1 o'clock, he decided, well, let me chant Brahma Bole Chaturmukhi. Then he thought Srila Prabhupada was sleeping. As soon as he started chanting, Prabhupada put up his hand. Stop. No, we don't do that. No.
Wow.
Thank you so much. So much nectar from this lecture, going different places. The Shastra and all that.
There's another thing that really got me thinking about this is why we don't observe Hayagriva's appearance day.
Mm.
I mean, he was a Leela avatar. And so then I started to think about, well, where does our calendar come from? And then, the Vaishnava calendar, there's something called the Bengali Panjika. Panjika means calendar. And I know that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because on our calendar, there's many appearance days of like Gaudiya Vaishnavas acharyas, which may not be there in the like a standard Bengali Panjika calendar. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, in his earlier life, prior to being initiated by Gorkishore Das Babaji, had a hand in the development of this Gaudiya calendar, Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar, and renaming the months according to the names of Vishnu instead of like Vaishaka, Chaitra, stuff like that. And but exactly how far that went, I don't know. And some appearance days you can find the descriptions in the Shastras, like Lord Krishna is the 8th day of the waning moon in the month of Shravan, right? Was it Shravan? Yeah. And Lord Ramchandra. So perhaps it's because certain incarnations, there's descriptions of when they appeared, and so there. But I don't know that. Hayagrīva, Prabhu, Hayagrīva, bhagavān ki jai.
Jai. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you, Prabhu, and thank you, devotees, for coming on for this wonderful discussion today, lecture and discussion. So have a wonderful day.
It's Ekadashi today.
Yes, it's Ekadashi. Yes. Vanchakalpatarubhasya
Kripa sindhibhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu, very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.